The chapters are like really short, but another thing that really stands out about this manga is the panels that the artist drew. They have like this neon green color, also from the cover of the manga, within the pages of the manga as well. And I really love that they decided to print it the way it was actually drawn, because I think that's something that makes it stand out from other manga. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ope and I love talking about things I love and enjoy. One of those things is books, specifically for this video, manga. And earlier in the year, I decided to start collecting manga, and I honestly do not know why I didn't consider doing that earlier, because I grew up reading manga and I just love reading them a lot. But ever since I decided to start collecting, it's something that I've taken to kind of like fish in water. It feels very natural. And it's just been very easy for me to get used to. If there's been a hard part for it, it's trying to balance how much manga I want to buy with what I can actually afford and how much I have space for. So it's been a little bit of a struggle to balance those two things, because I want to buy everything, both new and old, but I also have to remind myself that I can't afford everything and I don't have as much space for everything that I would love to buy. I also recently took the plunge to buy my first set of manga that are non-English releases, and I got all three of them from CD Japan. They are all here. And you might hear non-English releases and be wondering, like, why would someone even do that? Well, firstly, I love the manga that I have here, and some of them, it's just enough for you to kind of look through the panels and be able to infer the story that's being told from looking at the panels. I think that's an advantage that manga has, because you have drawings and not just writing that you need to read to understand the story. You can gain a lot just from looking through the panels. The second reason is there is a whole lot of manga that do not have English releases, so a lot of people have to settle for buying them in their original language. And my third reason is I am actually actively learning Japanese, because I want to be able to eventually consume a lot of these stories in their original form. Another day, I will talk about why I am learning Japanese. I'm also learning Korean. I'll talk about why I'm learning both languages and what my experience has been like learning those two languages. But without further ado, this is my package from CD Japan. I bought 3 volumes of manga. The very first one that I bought is one that I just discovered last month, actually. Let's bring this out. Okay, first one and the last two. Excuse the mess behind me, but yeah, this is the first one. I just found out about this series last month. The name is The Guy She Was Interested In Wasn't a Guy at All. I am blanking on the Japanese title right now, and if I try to read it out, since I can read a little bit of Japanese, it's going to take forever, so I won't even try. But I found this scrolling through social media about a month ago, and the color of the cover stopped me because it is very, very catchy. So I scrolled back to look at it, and I absolutely love this cover as well. It is very catchy, not just the color, but also the art on the cover as well. This is a Yuri manga, like a shoujo ai manga, so it's not like very sexually explicit or anything. It focuses more on like the emotional side of things. But this is basically a story about 2 girls in high school. The first one has kind of like unique taste in music. Unique in the sense that her music taste kind of differs from those of the people in her friend group. So there is a local record shop that she likes to go to kind of listen to that type of music. And she has a crush on one of the guys that works at the record shop. The plot twist is that the guy she has a crush on at the local record shop is not actually a guy. So the next day she's at school, she's talking to her friends about how she had an interaction with the guy at the local record shop, and he touched her hair, they talked to each other, and she was just screaming about it. You know how you get like as a young teenage girl when you have a crush on someone and they pay you the slightest bit of attention, you kind of want to share it with everyone and your friends and everything. So that's exactly what she was doing. Unbeknownst to her, the girl that sat next to her at school was the guy she was talking about. So the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all, like the title of the manga suggests. And the girl's name is Mitsuki. I just realized I actually didn't tell you the name of the main characters. The girl who has a crush on the guy from the record shop, her name is Aya. And the guy she's interested in, who is actually a girl, her name is Mitsuki. So Mitsuki realizes that Aya is talking about her, and she's kind of freaking out that, oh my God, I've made this girl, like, what kind of mistake have I made? And she's trying to rectify the situation and just tell Aya, like, ma'am, you've made a mistake. I'm not a guy. You have a crush on a girl. But that's kind of a hard, like, conversation to bring up with someone that you don't really talk to at school. But she still tries to do that. And through her multiple attempts to do that she fails at multiple times, they eventually discover like a shared interest in music. This is a manga that focuses on like music of like old punk slash rock grunge bands. So like very like Nirvana, Blink 182 type music. And the creator for this manga actually created a playlist for the manga as well. Like the branding for this manga has been amazing. And another thing that I actually failed to mention at the beginning before I got into the summary for this manga is the artist for the manga, Sumiko Arai. She started this kind of like as a webcomic slash doujinshi, so it was like self-published, and she was releasing the chapters on Twitter. But earlier in the year, it got picked up for a physical release by Kadokawa. So Kadokawa is like a pretty well-known, prominent publishing Japanese media company, or maybe not just publishing. I know they have like other kind of branches that don't focus on just publishing, but they're a very well-known company. So that's a very interesting story and pretty exciting, because from the first chapter, the manga just kind of went viral, and she was eventually able to get the story picked up, which is really nice. So fans do a lot for artists. Make sure you support your artists. You never know what might come out of it. But yeah, that's what the story is about. Aya has a crush on the guy that she thinks is a guy, who is really a girl. The girl she has a crush on, Mitsuki, realizes this, tries to clarify the situation, but fails at it. But they eventually discover their shared love of music and just kind of build a relationship with each other. And I really like the story. Like the chapters are like really short, but another thing that really stands out about this manga is the panels that the artist drew. They have like this neon green color, also from the cover of the manga, within the pages of the manga as well. And I really love that they decided to print it the way it was actually drawn, because I think that's something that makes it stand out from other manga. And that color just goes so well with the story that's being told. It matches well with kind of the old rock, punk, grunge vibes of the bands that are being talked about in the manga. And that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get this manga. It's unlike anything I've ever seen before. It just has such a cool stylistic choice to it. And I like the fact that they've just decided to stick with printing it that way and not change anything or just make it black and white. So that's a really good thing about this manga. It's a really simple story. It's very slice of life based. I like a lot of the characters in the manga, like Mitsuki's uncle, for example. Her uncle owns the record shop that she works at. There isn't much of a mention of her parents in the story so far, so I'm guessing he raised her alone. He's like a very wholesome person. Like he dotes on her a lot. He also gives her like a lot of artistic freedom. Seeing that she works at his record shop, she has like piercings, she paints her nails black and everything. She's like full into like the emo vibe that you probably had as a teenager and everything. And I binged it in one sitting. The chapters are like really, really short. They have like 2 to 4 pages for each chapter. I think currently there's been 54 chapters released, and this first volume, I flipped through it earlier. It probably covers up to, I want to say, chapter 36, 37-ish. I don't know if they write the chapters in front before you get into them. Let's see. You know what? They've kind of split it apart from the way that it was written on Twitter, because this shows that it stops at chapter 3, but it's really chapter 36 from what was published online as a webcomic. But yeah, this covers over half of what has been currently released if you're reading it as a webcomic, and I'm really excited to have that. I tried reading it earlier and I was failing woefully at it because unfortunately the kanji in the manga doesn't have furigana right next to it, so I can't read all of it. It's gonna be really hard to read it. Probably not the best beginner type manga to read, but yeah, that is the guy she was interested in. Wasn't a guy at all. I really like this. There's going to be a link in the description if you want to get this, as well as any other Japanese mangas from CD Japan. It was really cheap. This was 1100 yen, so that's like $11 or maybe even less than that. It's a new manga, so it makes sense that it would be that price. And I'm not sure what goes into printing these, but I'm guessing the color will probably add to the price as well. And because I didn't want it to be lonely, I got 2 other volumes of manga. That's not completely the reason. CD Japan was actually doing like a 500 yen discount if you had a purchase of, I think it was like 2,500 yen or more, so that's like 5 of 25. So I added other things to it. I have volumes 1 and 2 of My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. I absolutely love this manga, so it wasn't like a hard choice for me to add it. These were actually really cheap. They were like 600 yen each. That's like $6. And I found out about My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999 when the anime came out earlier in the year. I binged the manga, absolutely loved it, and I had to stop myself from actually buying all the currently released volumes of the manga in Japanese, because I think back in June it was announced that it will be getting published in English with, I think it's Penguin Random House, and the English releases will be coming out in early 2024, so you can look forward to that. But in the meantime, I have the first 2 volumes of the non-English titles volumes manga. I'm not sure what word to use there. And in hindsight, now that I know they're getting published in English, I should probably have gotten something else. I actually thought of a manga that I could have gotten in its place. That would be Kaoru Hana wa Arin Tosaku, The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, another seinen manga with a romance that I've really been enjoying recently. I did a review of it on my channel. I'm gonna put the link below as well. So this is the second thing I bought. I wanted to add my purchase to 2,500 yen so I could get the 500 yen discount. So yeah, volumes 1 and 2 of My Love Story with Yamada-kun at level 999. I think it was pretty popular when the anime came out, but just in case you're not familiar with it, this is like a gaming-based romance shoujo anime / manga about this girl called Akane who started playing games with her boyfriend at the time because he loved gaming, and he later meets another girl in the game that they're both playing together and breaks up with Akane. So at the beginning of the story, her boyfriend just broke up with her. She's kind of mad about it, but she has like this meetup that she's doing with the other guild members in the game. Is that how the story goes? Was it a guild meetup? It wasn't a guild meetup. It was some kind of meetup for the game, and she just went there and she basically wanted to kind of show up the guy, like, how dare you break up with me, or maybe just meet his new girlfriend or something like that. But while she's there, she runs into this guy called Yamada Akito, who is like a really highly ranked player in the game. So she basically tells him, like, can you just pretend to be my boyfriend? So he pretends to be her boyfriend in front of her ex-boyfriend, and that kind of just throws them into contact with each other. But another thing she doesn't know is that Yamada is actually a member of her guild. And later on, when her guild meets up, she realizes this. They start to talk to each other a lot more, and it's a romance story, so they eventually fall in love with each other. I really like their romance story, but I think the better part of the story that really resonated with me was their friendship, the friendship that she built with the other members of the guild. It was really wholesome to watch. It's just like a bunch of people who like doing things that are kind of eclectic to society, because a lot of these things aren't like normally very like well accepted or received. Like, this is a girl that is in university and should probably be focusing on her studies based on other people who likes gaming, and she meets other gamers who like doing the same things as her, and they become friends in real life. So they actually do go out and touch the grass. They're not just staying at home and playing games all day. I really like that aspect of the story. It made it really wholesome. So yeah, my love story with Yamada-kun at level 999. I knew I was eventually going to get to a point where I ordered these volumes in Japanese. So those are the other two non-English mangas titles that I got. And that is the end of this video. Like I said, I got all three of them from CD Japan, and they came pretty fast actually. I ordered them on the 4th of August. It shipped on the 9th. Today is the 11th, so it came within 2 days of shipping. Depending on the shipping type that you pick, that's probably going to determine the shipping time for your package. But the one that I picked said it was going to arrive within 1 to 4 days, and it arrived within that time frame. I will definitely be using that service again to order manga in the future. They also have a lot of merch for anime and manga in general. Honestly, it's a hole that I've gotten myself into that I wish that I didn't find, but I'm also happy for it because there's just lots of options. So yeah, I love story with Yamada-kun at level 999, and the guy she was interested in wasn't a guy at all. Those are the two titles that I've now added to my library that are non-English. And I hope you enjoyed watching this video, or just enjoyed watching me review both titles, and maybe hopefully gained an interest in either one of them. So that brings this video to an end. I do not know how to wrap up videos, unfortunately, but whatever day you find yourself watching this, make it a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.